This video is a compilation of 3 separate videos. The first segment is a demonstration of how to lay a blood track for a young or inexperienced dog. The middle segment will show a brief introduction of a deer hide and a deer leg to a puppy. The third segment will show that same 12-week-old DK puppy working the track. The techniques in this video will essentially be the same as needed for VGP training. Here is the equipment that I use to lay a track. Let's look closer at each item. Blood dispensing can be accomplished with condiment bottles, a water bottle with a hole poked in the cap, or a baby bottle with the nipple hole widened. Aim for about a dime to quarter-sized drop of blood each time you tip the bottle. This is called the drip method. You should not need to squeeze blood out of the bottle. A different technique that can be used is called the dab method, where a sponge attached to the end of a stick is used to dab blood on the ground. When you enter a VGP, test information should specify which method will be used for the test. For markers, clothespins with surveying ribbon tied on and biodegradable camping toilet paper will be handy for easily marking the track route. Place these markers in easily seen locations often enough along your track. The clothespins make the markers easy to attach to the branches, one-handed, and easy to retrieve as you and your dog work the track. If you want to get into real-world tracking of deer, tracking shoes will be a necessity to properly train your dog. These shoes shown here are homemade, but commercial ones can be purchased. Alternatively, a hoof can be strapped to a pole and pushed into the ground as you walk. Hooves from a deer that was shot, matched to the blood that you are using, is ideal. Of course, using hooves is not necessary for VGP training. You will also want a GPS unit or GPS app on your phone to easily record track length and layout in addition to having the track marked with flagging. All of this is carried in a bag along with nitrile gloves and any other items you might need along for the track laying. Let's look at how this track will be laid out. This track is approximately 50 yards to the first turn. The puppy that will run this track has already done several shorter tracks that have aged for a few hours, so there are some 90-degree turns to add a little complexity. The sharp turns also help you to read your dog and teach the dog to concentrate on the track. This track is still kept short for a young 12-week-old puppy in order to keep her attention and evaluate her level of commitment with the different cover changes. Blood is dropped roughly every time or every other time my right foot hits the ground. Each drop is probably the size of a quarter or less, and only 1 or 2 drops are released each time. Don't spray blood or feel that you need to create a line of blood for your dog. The tracking shoes are also laying the hoof scent of the same deer from which this blood was collected. It is beneficial for the dog to learn to track the deer's scent as opposed to just blood, because often on a real track there is little to no visible blood. Tracks will soon be aged 8 hours, overnight, and then 24 to 40 hours or so as a puppy shows progression. We always want to keep the dog interested in solving the track puzzle, never frustrated or thinking about quitting. Try not to lay tracks on heavy snow or other surfaces that will create additional visual aids for your dog. We want them to be tracking, not tempted to follow a path. Dogs also have a very good sense of place, so don't run tracks along the exact same route each time. At the end of the track, a piece of deer hide or leg that the dog has been introduced to previously and is excited about should be placed. Also, kibble or another food reward such as pieces of liver should be placed. The next segment of this video demonstrates the important step of introducing a dog, especially a puppy, to the hide before tracking. If the track is aged longer than an hour, I wait to put the hide and food reward at the end so that bees or ants or other animals don't get at it. Always walk in to place the reward the same way you left after laying the track. Always remember to train blood tracks with a hungry dog. Hunger motivates, and the food at the end will make your dog want to concentrate on the track. I don't like to generally put food along the track often because I don't want to encourage pottering or eating sign that might be important on a real track, such as pieces of muscle or fat that might be pulled from the wound. Every dog is different though, and some that are seemingly less interested in tracking might benefit from food along the track. A track every week or 2 is generally sufficient to maintain a dog's skill development and keep them interested. As always, read your dog to determine if your training techniques and frequency are appropriate. As a reward at the end of the track, I like to use food to satisfy hunger and something like a deer hide piece or leg to satisfy prey drive. The combination of deer part and food seems to really create dogs that are eager to track. Make sure you do this introduction so that a young or inexperienced dog isn't startled by a large piece of hide or whatever else you might use at the end of the track. Jared starts by playing with the deer leg with Asher. You can see that she already sees the hide and is interested in what it is. Shelby introduces a small piece of hide to start the introduction to the full hide. Moving on to the big hide, there is no issue. Jared creates a little chase with it to make it even more fun for Asher. Jared shows Asher the start of the track and allows her to acquire the track and make her own forward progress. As I progress down the track, Jared only moves forward when the puppy is showing tracking behavior. If Asher gets off the track, he stops and lets her reacquire. They are a team. The handler's job is to learn to read the dog and provide assistance when the dog loses the track. Always pay attention to where you last notice your dog showing positive signs of committed tracking. You will notice Asher working the right side of this track more. The wind is going from left to right, and when the laying of the track was filmed, the person filming followed along off to the right side of the track, sometimes in the taller grass. This extra scent is an added level of distraction that should be avoided at a young age. You will be able to see the puppy momentarily get on the track of the person who filmed, and then self-correct. Asher is a little too distracted, so Jared helps bring her back to the track with very brief and simple commands. He is not talking much during this track, except to provide brief assistance and the occasional good girl when she self-corrects or makes a turn. Don't distract your dog when it is working. Let it work. Anytime a dog hits a cover change on a track, it can present challenges of varying degrees. Going from open field to woods or vice versa changes how scent is held in vegetation and how the dog needs to concentrate. Here we see Asher initially follow the track of the person who filmed the laying of the track. She quickly realizes that she isn't exactly on her track, and she self-corrects. That deserves some praise. At this last turn, you can really see Asher showing strong tracking behavior and that she is enjoying this job. The prey drive response at the hide helps Asher to learn that tracking is fun and there will always be a reward at the end. This was a short track with some extra distractions, but Asher maintained focus and was successful. Jared makes sure to give her lots of praise for completing the track.
Good girl. Good girl. Yeah, good girl. Good girl. Yeah.